The best years of your life are ahead. Live from Hollywood, California, the man who traded in hope for a solution, the vaccine for America's pharma dream, the man who legalized stealing your health back. You're listening to The Natural Health Report with your host, Matthew David Hurtado.
Hey guys, it's Matthew David Hurtado with the Natural Health Report, and I'm with Michelle Arbeau, and we
pronounce it right. No, it's French Canadian, so everybody gets it wrong.
Okay, well we're in West Hollywood. It's called what, a WeHo?
He's so tall he has to do this, right?
And we were just
We're in WeHo,
yeah, WeHo, and I'm having some of Michelle's celebrity wine. It's incredible.
Cheers.
And actually, I was just picking her brain again because I'm just so enamored with the story of the magic. She's magic. So we're back again. I'm talking about magic and how things just sort of synchronistically line up when you live in the state of, that magic. So what do you want to add to that?
I don't know. I mean, like I said to you before we started, it's when I started to realize that I had to do things on how I felt rather than what I thought. It flowed. And you know those people. I mean, my partner's like that. She's neurotic in the sense that, oh my God, what if this, what if that? And she spends an enormous amount of time worrying. And I thought, what are you doing? It's such a waste of time and energy and inspiration. You could be focused on so much more in that time frame. And it just doesn't make any logical sense to me. So every day I wake up and it's like, don't sweat the small stuff because it's all small stuff, right? If you're still breathing, you don't have terminal cancer, you know the whole 9 years, you're cool. Let's get on the flow and let's do this, right? So that's how I see life now, and life's too short. We might reincarnate 100 times, but we only know this one right now. So that's how I see it. It's like, don't waste your time. Do what you can. Because I know when I'm on my deathbed, when I look back, I want to say, yeah, I tried it 1,000 times and I failed 999 times, but I was successful one. But then you have other people who are like so scared to try that they're on their deathbed saying, geez, I wish. And I would rather do it 1,000 times than say I wish. So that's where it's at, and I just think you should do it. And there's so many people, and I think this has a lot to do with health, because my health really improved drastically. I mean, I had the worst case of psoriasis you could ever imagine. When I was 13 years old, I looked like someone with leprosy. I was like head to toe. It was just horrendous. I mean, think about a girl in puberty, and then you're covered head to toe. How horrific that would be. Devastating, right? Devastating. So I have nothing now. Nothing. I'm in perfect health. I had blood tests done recently. I'm like, well, probably should get something done. I'm 37. Perfect. Stellar. And I knew it. It's like when you're in alignment with your being, when you're in alignment with who you are, your truth, the whole 9 yards, it's perfect. Everything is good. Your disease is about something that's not in alignment. And that's the truth. I mean, I've had a lot, like you, I've had a lot of health challenges, but the moment that I started to really say, you know what, I gotta live my truth. So what? They don't like it? Well, that's their truth, not mine. And it just suddenly, miraculously, everything got better.
Yes. And I love how you challenge me, and everybody needs this challenge because we always get caught in our heads. Even in the Bible it says, take no thought for your life, what you shall eat and drink, and what will worry add to you.
Okay, I'm gonna get this up close and personal because I think it'd be so cool. I'm gonna cut it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna get up close and personal because I
All
really want, this is like cool, it's
Yeah.
like, we might look like we have a big nose or whatever, but we gotta hear this and we gotta see it for real. It's like up close and personal. So go ahead.
Okay, well, what I love the most, Michelle, is how you challenge me. And everybody needs a challenge. You need somebody to pull you out of your head, because what happens is, it happens to me, and I like to consider myself a manifester, but still I still get caught in that head, still get the migraines randomly, which is head stuff going on. And what I love is how you challenge me to live in the way that you've
Live in
been
the
living.
moment.
Yes, live in the moment and go with your feeling.
Yes.
It even says in the Bible, it says,
Yes.
take no thought for your life, what you shall eat and you shall drink, and what can worry add to your life. These were the teachings that Jesus put out there, and some people say, well, this is just the New Age stuff. No, this is not New Age. This is the old-timey,
Yes.
real stuff. This is...
The Bible's real. You know,
Yeah.
I definitely think the Bible's real.
Yeah.
It's just metaphoric.
Yes.
You know, it's so crazy that you say Jesus, because I was just talking to someone who is a good friend of mine, who is like an angel practitioner, and she said that, you know, the whole Jesus thing. It's interesting because I grew up an atheist. I wasn't in any religion. I wasn't, you know, my mom didn't take me to church. So I went to corporate and I was in banking and totally didn't even know that we had a soul, you know, so to speak, right?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I started dreaming in numbers, and then the spiritual realm really opened up to me. But Jesus was always something that resonated with me. I read a book on a plane in Philadelphia. It was at the airport. And I got a book by Deepak Chopra, and it was on Jesus, but it wasn't like a biblical, it was more like a, you know, New Age version of who Jesus was and what he was doing. And it just really stuck with me, and I thought, you know what, Jesus must be a pure 3, like me, because I just feel like that's me. That's, you know, what you can do, or what I can do, you can do. That's how I live. It's like, I don't feel like I'm special, or that, you know, people look at me and say, how did you do that, Michelle? How did you manage to manifest so much in a short amount of time? And I tell them, I just did it, you know. And I think that's the problem. You know, you look at these people, like the lady who did Spanx. She started with $5,000, and now she's a billionaire. How did she get there? It's like overwhelming to the average person. They're like, I'm in my corporate job. I would love to be her, but I don't know how to get there. Well, let's start with A, and we'll go to B, and C, and D, and E. You're not going to get that level immediately, but when you take one step, the snowball starts to roll, and then all of a sudden, synchronistic events come into your stratosphere, and you don't have to try. It really, I wake up every day and I'm like, really? And I've been saying all week, I'm like, where's the magical unicorn running through my living room? Because I'm just in bliss that I don't have to try anymore. Everything is coming into my lap because I believe it. And I know that I'm deserving, and I know that we're supposed to be in abundance. This is our natural state. We are supposed to be in joy and abundance.
Yes. And, you know, what I've done is I've realized how the mind works. And here's how your mind works. You try to figure it out and you can't. And so what happens is you actually beat yourself up afterwards because you can't figure it out. But in reality, you can just set your mind aside and just decide what you want, and then just embrace your internal guidance system by how things feel right to you or they feel wrong. And that's what you're saying, right?
Right.
Yes.
And I always tell people, try it on. You know, it's like, put yourself in that position and then see yourself not doing it. Where is the sense of relief? Then you know your answer. You know, there's so many times when we could say, yeah, I know I shouldn't have done it, but I did it anyway. It's not about how you thought in that moment. It's about how you felt in that moment. And so society says emotions are wrong. Emotions are irrational. Emotions can't be relied upon. But emotions are literally our built-in compass. That's really what it is. And they're always right. Always, always, always. The moment you feel something, it's the instantaneous feeling. It's like, yeah, I know, this isn't right. There's something wrong here. Trust it. You know, believe it because it's right. And 9 times out of 10, if you trust the feeling rather than your logical brain, you're going to make the right decision for you.
Exactly. So here's an example. This is incredible because Michelle and I have this new idea, and I'm not going to give you all the details, but let's just say it has to do with some exciting new products, and they're going to be made available sooner than I even believed. But Michelle asked me today, she's got this flyer she showed me on the internet that's coming up for this event on March 21st and 22nd. Huge event. And she says, can we get our product ready for this event? And I said, well, geez, it's not really possible. And she says, well, good, because I'm going to book it.
Exactly. You know, you build it and they will come.
But you know, the best part about it is it's going to happen now because
it will.
She already made the decision it's going to happen. So
yeah.
My mind doesn't, my mind is gone. So let's just leave the mind out of it.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
You know, to think, well, we have a week or so away, it's never going to happen. Well, stranger things have happened. Let's just leave it at that. It is what it is. Let's just keep on the plan, and it is what it is. That's just really how I think that people should see it. It's like, don't stress about it that, oh my God, I have a week. How am I going to get it done? It'll be what it's supposed to be, you know, and I wouldn't have booked it, and the universe wouldn't have brought me that opportunity, and it wouldn't have happened had it not been meant to happen.
Okay, now pause there. Do you think that that's how the universe brings these
Yes.
opportunities to you? So you get these opportunities,
Mhm.
and you want that, but what happens next is you say, I can't.
Right.
And that's
Resistance. Resistance.
Yes.
Absolutely resistance. And that's my last hang up. And I let it go recently. And like I said, I'm waiting for the magical unicorn. It hasn't galloped through the living room yet. However, I really let go. It's like nothing worries me anymore. It's like I have no fear. And I know that sounds maybe even a little bit arrogant, but it's not arrogancy. It's like, what do you have to fear? I mean, try it, do it, go for it. What do you got to lose? Really, sit down and say, okay, if I do this, what am I losing? What could I lose? So what if you lose your house or your... It's not about that. Hit the redo button and do it again. So what? You're starting from scratch. I've done that before. I've sold everything I owned. Just had my clothes and pictures. And does it really matter on your deathbed that, oh my God, I lost my house once and I declared bankruptcy? No.
You'll get a better one.
Exactly.
You'll get a better one.
Exactly. Follow your heart. Follow what it is that feels right. If it feels right to do it, then it's right. That's the bottom line.
So you think from the heart,
Exactly.
not from the head.
Right. And that heals everything. I swear to God. It's like depression, the whole 9 yards, anxiety. Like I am literally living in bliss these past few weeks that I've let go of the resistance. And I have no health challenges whatsoever. I just feel on top of the world. You know, I was on anxiety medication. I'm not anymore. I literally went cold turkey, and I was telling Matthew the other day that I was like, oh, this is kicking my butt. Today I feel fabulous. So, I've read forums that are like, oh, this is a nightmare. You're going to go through months and months and years of withdrawal. No. Because I didn't believe that was part of my reality.
That's true. You have a choice whether you let that into your reality or not. And we had this conversation. I was telling you about some things that happened to me in the last year, and you brought it to my awareness. It's because I allowed it into my reality.
Exactly.
I had a choice the whole time.
Right.
And so do you. You always have a choice what you're willing to allow and what you're willing to disallow. And I've heard this great thing about manifestation, and it's not that you actually have to try to get something. You actually have to get rid of something, like your excuses. And that's what you're challenging me to do, and
That's
I love
right.
that.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I see myself in you in a lot of ways because it's the fear factor. It's like that's the last piece of resistance. It's that giving away your personal power. That was a huge theme for me. Every relationship, every connection that I made, whether it be personal, friends, business, you name it, it was personal power, and I was giving it away. And like Matthew, he's living in a state of fear because he's giving away his power, and that's his last hang-up. That's it. It's almost like a fine veil that is the last piece of the puzzle, and once he releases that, he's in that state of bliss. It's like nothing matters in the sense that, the fear factor, nothing matters. It doesn't mean that, things don't matter in life, but it's the fear factor. You let it go. Nothing is really fearful because really, what do you have to lose? You really don't. This life is like a rehearsal. You have a soul, and this is just an act, a play. You're going through the motions, but at the end of the day, you're going to return to spirit. You're going to return to source. Energy can't be destroyed. If you're talking about quantum physics, energy cannot be destroyed. So when you die, think about a dead person. People have passed away. The lights are gone. Their eyes are dead, and it's because their energy has returned to source, whatever you want to call it. But it can never be destroyed. So the energy, the brightness that we have in our eyes, it really is the soul. Eyes are the window to the soul, and it's so true. And that is your last hang-up. It's that. You need to get rid of that.
And what I love about it, too, is you don't have to be perfect. And I'm perfect example of that. I have a long way to go, but yet from where I was a few years ago to where I'm today, it's incredible. You just got to challenge yourself to take the next step. And it can be the biggest step you've ever taken in your life, or it can be the smallest step. But you take the next step forward and then be willing. Willingness is the key. What you have is willingness. And that willingness supersedes the fear. You feel the fear and you let it just pass right through, and you say, you know what, that's my cue. When I feel this fear, it means that it's time to move forward. That's what it's telling me.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. it's so interesting because I was the opposite for so long. I was like, oh my God, what if this, what if that? And I always needed to know 10 steps in front of me. And if I didn't know that, I was paralyzed. I couldn't even make a move. And so I went from one extreme to the other, and I think that was my battlefield. That was my learning lesson. And I love my life now. I wouldn't change it for the world. It's bliss.
You live in paradise.
I do.
You live in West Hollywood. I've been in West Hollywood for the past 2 nights, and this is paradise, guys.
Look at it, guys.
I mean, anything
We're
you
talking.
want at your fingertips. People, beautiful people out here.
Look at the sun. Look.
It's 90,
Beautiful
91
SoCal
degrees today.
sun. Look at this. Yeah, 91 degrees, and we're talking like beautiful Southern California. This is where the spiritual people come. This is really, California is a 7. 7 is the truth seeker.
Yes.
So people come to Hollywood to find themselves, to be, follow their dream and be that model or actress, or, they're chasing their dreams. And 7 is the truth seeker. So a lot of people, especially now, who, like you, Matthew, who are on this kind of cusp of spiritual awakening and really kind of grasping, who am I, what am I meant to be doing, a lot of them are westbound, because west is where it's at in terms of seeking truth and being free, and the east has a very black and white, cut and dry kind of energy, and it's just not. I'm from the east, and I had to move because it just wasn't resonating with my energy.
Yeah, let's talk about the practical spiritual energy, though, because
I'm sweating. I'm an East Coast Canadian, so I'm like, this is like the depths of hell.
You get used
so
to
I'm
it,
like,
though, right?
Yeah. They say I acclimatize, but I don't.
Yeah, you've seen the parodies on YouTube where you see the people that are so-called spiritual, and they're totally aloof, and they're so heavenly bound, they're no earthly good. But the thing is that's not what you're talking about.
No.
You're talking about the practical
spirituality,
and that's discovering your own your personal power and taking it back. You have power. You have all the power you've ever wanted already right here.
Yes.
And the fear thing, I think, is the last vestige. Once you can give fear the slip, that's when you can start recognizing that, hey, I really do have the ability to create the life that I dream of having, and I can be who I want to be. And then you can compound that, and I think you've done this for a while now.
Yeah.
And now that's why you can be at this place where the floor has risen up. Your lows are here when they used to be here.
Yes.
And your highs are limitless.
Yes.
So.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's true. We are godlike creators, and we can do anything we want to do. And it's so true. It's like, I truly believe that now. And when I was a kid, I grew up in poverty, and I always said to myself, I want to be something great. And I always thought, what are you talking about, Michelle? That's crazy talk. But now I see. It's like, I knew coming in that I needed to fulfill this because I needed to teach other people right now that they're meant to do that. It's like a really pivotal time in society where people are like, wait a second, I can do more. Because if you think about the previous generation, they were all like, my dad's a dentist or a doctor. I should be a dentist or a doctor. And that was fine. They saved for retirement. They had their RSPs, and they retired quietly. Now we have this generation, it's like, wait a second, I don't want to be a dentist or a doctor. I want to be some sort of like combination of all of the above.
Yes.
Like a hybrid type. And it's all about following your calling now. It's not about saying what is acceptable to society. It's what does my heart, my soul want to express. So it's huge. People are struggling to the 9th degree. There's so many people in their, mid-30s all the way up to like 60, 70 and beyond. Like, I worked this job for so long, and then all of a sudden I want to do this now. And they're so confused, they're so bewildered that they feel like they're wrong. And I tell them when I look at their chart, because I do numerology, and I say, no, you didn't miss the boat, you didn't take a wrong turn, it's right now. And that's exactly what your chart says. So go for it. It's supposed to be that way.
Yeah. So I heard this story in my Uber ride. I just discovered Uber.
Oh my God, Uber. Tell about Uber.
Okay. So when I first got off the plane, I did the thing that you shouldn't do when you get here. I took a taxi.
Oh my God.
That's so 2008, because right now you can just get on your app with Uber.
Do you like spending more money than you should?
Well, no. And I get to meet cool people. I've met so many cool people while I'm hanging around here, and it's like $5 for a ride from here to there, and the taxi charge you $25.
Exactly.
But this thing is these new technologies are built from new ideas, and they disrupt old ideas. And the taxi cabs, they're protesting now because Uber's changing the world.
Yep.
But that's not the only thing. You have the Airbnb. You can stay in a place now instead of always checking into your hotel.
Exactly.
There's going to be disruptions in every industry coming right now. It's happening all over the world, and there's always two stories, and a lot of people are caught. You see, my problem was I was tuned into the fear porn on the internet with the end is coming, the collapse is coming. Yeah, the collapse of what you don't want is coming, and the birth of what you do want
That's right.
is already here.
The Armageddon is actually just a shift in energy. We have the system busters, the ones that are like breaking the old systems, like Uber, changing the old taxi cab situation. And that's exactly what's happening right now. We're having this huge revolution in terms of this doesn't fit anymore. And it's so huge because the previous century was all about 9. It was all about ambition, idealism, money, power, greed. What can I accumulate? I have a house, I have a bank account, I have X number of cars, blah, blah, blah. And now all of a sudden, with the financial crisis and all that jazz, and moving into the 2000s, 2 is the number of intuition and sensitivity. So what have we seen? We're 15 years into the new century. Think about that in comparison to the old century. We went from like horse and buggy to cars, computers, cell phones, advanced civilization in 100 years. We're already 15 years in and we have nothing. We have tweaks on the old but nothing new. And why is that? Because we're soul-based now. We're meant to say, okay, wait a second. My heart's telling me I should do something else. And that's exactly what the world is focused on right now. So all the systems are crumbling.
Yes, even the colleges.
Yep.
Mark Cuban, the guy that's a billionaire on the Shark Tank,
Mm-hmm.
he has this article on the internet the other day that one college is collapsing. Watch what's going to happen. That's the trend. So everybody's thinking, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? The jobs are gone. Well, what do you do when the jobs are gone?
You create your own. Like I did.
Money's flowing all over this city right now.
It's infinite. If you look around, it's like, where can I fill a void? There are so many people needing, wanting, desiring something. Where can you use your talents? It's endless. I mean, I'm a numerologist, but I could probably create a 1,000 or, I don't know, 1,000,000 even ways to make money and to satisfy the talents and the attributes that I have to give to the world. So it's endless. I think it's just your own mind saying, I can't do that.
It is the mind.
It is.
Because I just got from the perspective of your average person out there, because that was me, and I'm still somewhat in that category where I still have those doubts.
Uh-huh.
And when you said I can create 1,000,000 ideas, I just thought, I can't. But wait a minute, hold on.
You can.
It's not about what your mind says you can and can't do. It's what? How do you do it?
You just believe.
Believe?
It's like when I was a kid, I always said, think about children. You have children.
Yeah.
Think about children. They believe anything is possible, right? Anything is possible. It's like, well, I want to be an astronaut. Dad, I want to be an astronaut.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, son. And we think it's foolish or like it's high hopes, but they truly believe that. And I think that we miss the point in that we don't believe that anything is possible, but it is. I'm living proof that I create magic every day, and I'm so grateful. I'm so incredibly grateful, but I relish it at the same time because you can create anything you want. And thankfully, I do have that childlike personality, and I've always believed that anything is possible. So yes. I think it's served me well because I still believe that to this day, is that anything is possible.
Yes, in the 1980s, what you see right here on this phone, this is the technology the President of the United States had access to in the 80s. You now have that in your pocket, and that's the new economy. It's the technology. It's problem solving is how money flows. Every time you solve a problem, money flows. Okay. So how do you solve problems? It's simple because they're everywhere, and you have the technology, and you can crowdsource it, you can crowdfund it with Kickstarter. There's so many ways to tap into the new economy. And I think, I became a millionaire 2.5 years ago. I think that everybody has the access to become a millionaire with nothing down other than just an idea. You can get on Kickstarter, you can start a technology company, you can solve a problem, and you can have other people give their ideas to you, and then you can launch it for a few $1,000 and it become $1 billion plus company. That's where we're going.
Yes.
And we're going to some really cool times right now.
Oh, no, it's like I said the other day, we are so lucky to be alive right now. This is like the pivotal moment, right? Think about, for example, I was telling you about the lady in our building right now. She started a company selling celebrity clothes. And she went from literally a friend saying, here, can you sell this for me? Because I don't have any use for it. It's like a celebrity piece of clothing. She's like, okay, sure. And she went on eBay and she sold it. And she's like, Long story short, this lady has literally 4 apartments in this building, and West Hollywood is not cheap, girl. And, she has 3 that she uses for storage, 1 for living, and she almost bought a space across from Fred Siegel on Melrose for $10,000 a month because she can, and she's a millionaire, and all because she sold her friend's piece of clothing.
Yes. So there's a book called Bold, and it's a book that you have to listen to on your Audible, or read it on your Kindle, or buy the actual book if you like physical books still. But tap into these new ideas, because I'm out here in the midst of it, and I'm a small town guy from Wisconsin, in a town of 2,000 people right now, and I'm out here with all these people, and I was riding in the Uber ride over here to do this interview with Michelle, and the guy driving says, he's an Asian guy. He says, I have connections in Korea, and I have connections here, and I used to run a store, and my rent was $30,000 a month, and I couldn't make the rent to sell the products. And I said, man, how close were you? And he's like, I was very close. And I'm like, well, why didn't you go on the internet? Because retail is dying,
Yes.
and internet's growing at a 5-to-1 ratio. He goes, I don't know how to do e-commerce. I said, oh my goodness. I said, here's my number. Call me. I'll show you how to do e-commerce. You can learn it in a week. I said, if you were making $30,000 a month, instead of paying all the rent to that brick and mortar building, you could have put it in your pocket.
Exactly.
And guess what? You'd be a millionaire
Yep.
in a few years.
And you know what? Jill, the one that sells the celebrity clothing,
Yeah.
in this building, she decided not to take the Fred Siegel space, and she is now still doing it here and making millions. So, our building, it's so like old, but I love it. It's kind of this little hidden gem in the middle of Hollywood, because the next door building, they like have the high-tech gym and the pool. We have a pool, but it's our party pool. It's not like top of the line, but it's our home. It's like, I call the building manager the king of the castle. So it's like this little niche area that we're all these little kind of unique entrepreneurs that are doing our own thing, and we're weird and we're eccentric, but we love it here. It's like a big family in this whole building. It's incredible.
Yeah, it's like the modern version of like what you saw in Friends.
It's Melrose Place.
Melrose Place, yes.
Melrose is like around the corner.
It is, really. It's like literally Melrose Place. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how close
Isn't
that
that funny?
we really were.
It's the new Melrose Place.
Yeah. Yeah, and you said something great yesterday about how, all the big names that were so huge.
Yeah.
Think about this. Where we're going has nothing to do with that. Look at what happened in the music industry. Remember all the big hair bands that used to sell
my
out
God.
stadiums, and
Yes.
they could live like gods.
Yep.
Nowadays they're lucky if they can even sell any albums, because people pirate them on the
Exactly.
internet.
I know.
It's the day of you and me and Michelle. We are all interconnected now, and it's this interdependence.
Yep.
And it's all about, you have the technology right here between your ears, but you have to stretch a little bit. And one of the secrets that I'm going to share in your Mega Manifestation course, Mega Manifestor
Yes.
course, I believe the secret to uncommon success is through favor. And favor means that somebody likes you. And in this case, the right person, because you're one relationship away from having it all, and you're one idea away from having it all. That's how far you are, literally. You are only one person away
Yep.
from having it all, and how you gain favor is through honor.
Yep.
You honor the people that you admire and respect, and everybody wants to lift you up.
Yep.
And it's about getting rid of that resistance and saying yes to the opportunities, right, Michelle?
Totally. And I'm like sweating bullets. Look at the sun. Like, I'm like Canadian.
Yeah.
Like, I gotta get my bathing suit on right now. But it's so true, Matthew. It's like, interdependence is so huge, and I think that people don't recognize. They feel like that, they're all alone in this. It's like looking at that whole image of like that lady with the Spanx idea. Yeah, you can look at her story and say, okay, she started with $5,000 and she was a billionaire. But I can bet any money that she was using interdependence, meaning that she was pulling upon resources and people and things
Yes.
and ideas and solutions throughout the whole thing to make it happen. And that's exactly, look at Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, all of the greats. They didn't do it alone. They had an idea, but they didn't do it alone. And
Yeah.
it's the 7 habits of highly effective people. And the one key thing is interdependence. If you have an idea so big that you feel like it's overwhelming, then don't feel like it's overwhelming. Go to somebody who has the talent that might fill in the void. Like, I'm not practical, oh, sorry.
No worries.
It's like, we're getting a little tipsy up here.
Yeah.
So see the ledge, we're like,
We're staying away from the ledge.
I told the building manager, it's like, oh, we'll be careful. But it's West Hollywood. We need, it's Thursday. We need to, like, chill, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's like, you really need to draw upon the people that fill in the void. I mean, you might be great at one particular skill. You need to pull upon someone else who might have a different skill that's going to help you get closer to the goal.
Yeah.
So that's where it's at. It's totally where it's at, because I don't pretend to know everything. And, my story seems like, wow, this is crazy. But I didn't do it alone. I had interdependence, and that's the key. And you can be the pioneer and the trailblazer, but it's not going to get you far.
Yes. And one thing I want to mention too is that if you feel like there's no way for you to get out of your circumstances, one thing that I've discovered is that someone next to you in trouble is your doorway out of trouble, because whatever you sow comes back to you. And if you can help, see, an expert is only somebody that has a little bit more information than the next person. You're never going to be perfect.
No.
But let's just say you've got a terrible anxiety disorder, but my anxiety is a lot less. Well, then I become the expert, and so I can help you get to that next level. So when you think about what value do I have to offer to somebody, you are a beacon of light because you have the answer. And so somebody in trouble is your doorway out of trouble, because sowing that seed allows the, karma's action, cellular memory, reaction. So when you plant that seed, it's going to come full circle, and somebody's going to be looking at you and ready to bless you, but you got to be willing to say yes, because it's going to stretch you, and stretching isn't comfortable by any means, because if it were comfortable, everybody would already be a millionaire, because it's not that hard when you have the technology already available. It's already in your pocket. So the key is this magic. We talk about this magic. We come full circle.
Resistance.
It's in one word.
Yeah.
It's resistance.
It is, and it's hard. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. It's not an easy thing to overcome, but it's something you need to work through, and it's something you need to come to your own realization that maybe I'm resisting this, And I kind of have a good story to tell you, because I went through kind of a tumultuous divorce recently, and it was almost like my ex being, the revenge mode, that I could lead a starving cow to the lush pasture, but he would rather starve at the edge of this pasture than accept what was coming, because it didn't fit his mold. It didn't fit his ideal of what he thought. So therefore, he chose not to be any part of my life, and he sees me going up, 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 but yet still wants to be that cow at the edge of the pasture starving. So I really don't get that kind of logic, but I think that is the resistance. That is like an utter example of resistance that people need to work through. That, it's the fear factor, but it's also a little bit more of, your beliefs too. It's like all those beliefs that you have, those old patterns. I had the I'm not good enough, or I don't deserve abundance, or, all those kind of things. And I had to get past that, I had to really say, I'm worth it. I'm worth this abundance. I'm worth it. 100%. And it's not arrogance, like I said, it's not arrogance or ego. It's that we are supposed to live in a state of joy and abundance. That is our nature. That is the human condition. That is where we're supposed to be in this lifetime.
Yeah, the only way to help people that are struggling is to not be one of them. They have to see whatever you see is what you propel yourself towards. So they need to see that somebody else is doing it. And I always say my greatest teacher was when I had PTSD and anxiety and Lyme's. All those things were my teachers. That was my boot camp in order to face this fear thing, and it's still with me. So, but because I've been through it so much, when I'm challenged, I can say, you know what? What's the worst that's going to happen? I'll have a panic attack. Who cares?
Yeah.
I mean, realistically, I've lost everything too. I was living in a 120-some-year-old farmhouse with box elder bugs crawling up over me when I had Lyme's disease, and we didn't have anything, but we rose up out of that. You see, you're never going to lose anything that was real, and you'll only be lifted up through going from the experience. So every step you take, you're actually raising the bar. You can't fail.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. You can't fail.
And, some people, like me, I'm the first person to say I'm stubborn. I had to hit rock bottom. I had to hit the bottom of the well in order to see the light at the top. And that's exactly what happened to me, is that I had to hit the very, very, very brink of the bottom. And then all of a sudden I said, wait a second, it's not that bad. There's a light up there. And I think some people are like that. They need to really get to the extreme to like be awakened to the possibilities and what they're capable of and what they should have in their lives and what they deserve and the whole 9 yards.
I have a ridiculous story about rock bottom. So I get off the plane in Minnesota. They actually have a restaurant called Rock Bottom. And so I walked up into the restaurant just to say that I had achieved rock bottom so I could actually go forward now. Because sometimes you won't let yourself go forward until you hit rock bottom.
Exactly.
So go ahead and hit rock bottom right now. Allow yourself to hit rock bottom.
Right.
So that you can go forward.
What is your rock bottom? Because, you know, for me, it's like, I think that's why I'm fearless in the sense that I just feel like I can do this, and no matter what the consequences, I can deal with it, because I've already been to the depths of anything that I could possibly imagine. So it can't be any worse than that.
Yep.
So let's just do this shit.
I want to tell you one secret.
I know, it's like R-rated. It's R-rated now
shit.
on the Natural Health Report.
No,
we're R-rated.
No, shit is perfectly fine, because you know where the word comes from?
What?
It comes from years ago in the ships. They wrote ship high in transit. So it's an acronym, shit. They used to put the manure up high, ship high in transit.
Funny.
So
that's funny.
It's actually an acronym. It's not a bad word.
Well, you know, I gotta say, Matthew, you know, I was talking to someone the other day, and they're like, the New Age thing, it's almost like its own religion now. It's like its own cult.
It is.
And people have to like undo all this learning. It's like they're so airy-fairy. It's like, I have a potty mouth. I'm sorry, you know?
Yeah.
And I like it because it releases some things. Just like, instead of punching somebody, I'll say something bad. I'll say a cuss word. And to me, it's not bad. You know, this is my reality, and maybe you don't like it, but that's okay. And, you know, these New Age people that say, well, we should do this, we should meditate. I never meditate. I can't meditate. You know, I might be able to walk and think, or like in between that state of like sleeping and not sleeping, I'll sort of meditate, I guess. But I can't do that. And look at my life. I mean, I'm no less than... I'm achieving everything I want and then some, and I don't meditate. You know, I'm not in the New Age group. I'm sorry. It's just a practical spirituality, I swear, but I also achieve greatness. So where's the middle ground? I'm the middle ground, and I think that people need to undo some of this like heightened New Age kind of la la land, crazy airy fairy crap.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't make any sense to follow rules that don't serve you. And it's about your dreams. It's not about comparison. And that's another trap. We fall into comparison. And it's easy out here in West Hollywood. I see so many beautiful people, and I see Bentleys, and I see Rolls Royces. So you can always say, well, gosh, I feel poor. Compared to who? See, it's not about them. You never should compare yourself to anybody else, because you're not even in the same universe as them.
Exactly.
It's you are your own universe.
That's right.
And the thing is, you have the right word. You said authentic you.
Yes.
That's the key word. It's the password.
It is.
Being authentic.
There's not going to be any person in the world that is like you. So don't compare yourself. Don't say, well, you know, I'm less than because I don't have that Bentley, or I'm less than because I don't have that. That's not you. So don't even go there. And I feel that way. It's like people think I'm a rock star. I'm like, what? I'm just little Michelle. You know, it's like so many people think that I'm amazing, and I'm thinking, I'm just living my dream. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. You do the same. I'm not feeling like I'm less than you. And I think that is the key, is they love me because I don't feel less than in their presence. You know, they might be multi-quadrillionaires and doing so well that, you know, they couldn't spend the amount of money that they have in like 3 lifetimes, but I don't feel less than in their presence, and it's because it's not my reality. I have a different one.
And they might feel less than in your presence, because they might say, hey, she's young, she's energetic, she's got this glow, I don't. You know, see, everybody's comparing themselves. Stop it, because it's never going to work.
Yes.
You know, just love yourself.
Right. And, you know, we were talking about self-love, and this is like the key to everything. It's like, you know, you've been through health challenges. Like, literally, Matthew, when I had that psoriasis condition when I was like 13, I had like joint pain where I had to tie like tube socks around my arms and legs because they were so incredibly painful and aching like all night long, and it was from the psoriasis. And you know, I just went through the ringer and back with like everything you could think of, like you, and now I have nothing. I'm perfect, and I feel like I'll never get anything. You know, I'm gonna die a natural death, and that's the way it's gonna be. That's my reality, and I'm perfectly healthy.
That's right. So what can we wrap up with?
Well, let's wrap up with saying that, you believe it and it is so. That is really the bottom line. I know that sounds far-fetched, but it's true. It's like if you were suffering from some kind of medical condition or anything that is hindering your success or achievement, you got to look at what the pattern is. What are you holding on to? Because for me, I gave away my personal power, always. That was my common theme. I'm not good enough, so here's my personal power. The moment that I let that go, everything changed. My health changed, my outlook changed, my life changed. And so you really need to look at, okay, I have this condition. Let's say you have, I don't know, arthritis, or you have endometriosis, or whatever it is that you have.
Or lupus, or
right.
There's a million diseases.
Right. What do you have, and why do you have it? That is the key. So, and it goes back to what I was saying, is that people look at those people like the Spanx lady. It's like, wow, how do you get there? It's the same thing with a health condition. It's like, how do I get free of this? Well, you got to take some steps. Go from point A to point B to C to D to E, and keep going. Take a step. Take a step, and it will lead you to the next. I swear to you.
Yes.
I'm living it. So just take the first step, even though you don't see the whole thing.
Yeah, and an example of that, when I had the Lyme's and I couldn't use my legs very well and it was hard to walk, I decided I wasn't going to be that way. I was so skinny that I was not happy, and I wanted to be active again. I wanted my body back. So I started weight training, and it really hurt bad, to tell you the truth, but I said, you know what? If all I can do is a minute of weight training, that's what I did.
Mm-hmm.
I did what I could, and then I got better and better and better. But you see, I always challenge myself to stretch just a little bit more,
Mm-hmm.
and you get there by the inch, and then before you know it, you're there. You're back to you're right where you want to be. But if you don't move forward, you're either going forward or backward.
Exactly.
You're never idling, ever. So if you don't like your job, you don't like your relationship, or you don't like something about your life, realize that you're not idling. You're actually going to be going backwards.
Exactly.
You either got to stretch and go forward or go down.
Exactly. So that's the takeaway. Whether it be health or success or whatever, it's all related to your beliefs and your mindset and what you feel to be true to you. It's your truth. It's your authenticity. So live your truth. That's the bottom line. If you live your truth, you're going to be in perfect alignment with your body, mind, and soul. All of it's going to be in alignment, and you're going to be like me. All of a sudden, I have nothing. I had the worst case you could ever. I was going to ultraviolet light therapy. I was, the whole 9 yards, and all of a sudden I have nothing. Absolutely nothing. And it was the one that wasn't supposed to go into remission. So here I am, living proof that it does, because I believed it to be so. So look at why you have this condition. Look at why you are hindered because of this either health problem or mental problem, whatever it is. It's a pattern that you need to look at and resolve and say, you know what, this isn't serving me.
Yes. And that really sums it up. I have nothing to add to that. I mean, we don't want to overcomplicate it, but
it's simple.
It has to be simple.
It is.
It's not going to be easy, because if it were easy, you'd already have it.
Exactly.
But it will be simple.
Take the leap.
Yeah.
What do you really, at the end of the day, add that to what I just said and say, what do I have to lose? Really, It's like when you're on your deathbed, what are you going to say to yourself? I should have. Or rather, I did and I lost, but it's okay because I did, and now I feel good because I tried and it didn't happen, but you know what? I tried.
Yeah.
So I'd rather that than saying I wish.
I'm going to be there and say, man, I gave him hell. I gave him everything I had. And
Exactly.
It may have taken me a little longer to get there, but I got there and I gave it my all, and I have no regrets.
I don't know anybody who wouldn't want that,
Yep.
So look at that, and contact us. I mean, contact Matthew, contact me. We're really open, and that's the thing with people who think, wow, she's achieved so much, or he's achieved so much. We're approachable, we're real. It's like, what are you talking about? Call me, Facebook me, email me, whatever. It's like, we're real people. This is craziness. No one's better than anyone else. This is my reality. I'm unique. There's no one person like me, so why would there be anybody better than me or less than me? Do you know what I'm saying? It's like, it doesn't happen.
Yeah, and everybody has challenges, and the bigger you get, the challenges get bigger, but challenges are what keep life adventurous and fun.
Yeah.
If you knew what was going to always happen and there was no struggle at all, and it was just easy peasy, seriously, I mean, you wouldn't like it. You know, if you spent too much time in heaven, you'd want to go to hell just to get the contrast.
Well, yeah, I agree with that, but you know
Yeah.
what? It's once you take away the resistance, it's
Yeah.
like the challenges get less. So
It's
trust and believe, brother.
it's
Hit
the
me.
enjoyable
Hit me.
challenges.
No, I know.
You
And
get
then
better
it's
challenges.
almost like fun. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, you dared me to do that. Okay, great.
The difference
Yeah,
is, you know, in my former life, I had a challenge to get out of bed, but now in my life, it's a challenge of how we're going to get this ready in a week.
How
to
you
do this
gonna
product
get? Yeah,
show.
you're in LA.
This
like,
is a hard challenge,
I said,
but
Matthew, come to LA.
Yeah.
He's in LA. I said, well, you know, we have an event in like a week. Can you redo the products in a week? Well,
no,
I booked the
I can't.
booth
It's not possible, but I'll be there with
on
products.
Santa Monica Boulevard in the middle of West Hollywood,
Yeah.
and yeah. So he's gonna do it.
Okay.
We're gonna do it. We're gonna figure out something because we can. You
Yeah.
know, because we can. So that's the takeaway. This is our episode. We may add a little bit, but I'll give you like a panoramic, just again of this like beautiful scenery. This is like the top of my building. It's like utopia. You know, I came from Canada, like 6 feet of snow, and I'm not joking. This is bliss to me. You know, and I'm glad to be here. It's like I did it because I achieved it.
You did it because you said yes to it.
I did.
You
I
were
said I
willing to
deserved
accept it, and
Right.
you felt worthy and deserving. That's what it boils down to.
It
When
does.
I had my success, it's because I stopped doubting.
Exactly.
I mean, I still had the feeling of doubt, and I still felt it, but it was an entity. That was a voice. It wasn't my voice. That came from opinions from other people.
Right.
Those weren't me, so I just disregarded them, and I went into the fear, and then life got fun.
Yeah, and fun is the key word. So
Yeah.
we'll leave it with that. And of course, we'll have more episodes in LA because we have that event in like a week, and he's going to be back because he's going to get the products ready.
Yep.
And we're going to make it happen. So in the meantime, contact us. I'm under Michelle Arbeau, which is French Canadian. Michelle with 2 L's, Arbeau. Facebook us, Twitter us. What is your Twitter and Facebook?
Well, Twitter's RNA drops, and then
You got to change that to your name.
exactly. Well, Facebook is Matthew David.
I'm
Hurtado.
putting him through the crash course.
We're getting there. Yeah, we're getting there. Matthew
you.
David Hurtado.
Yeah.
you'll
So
find me.
Facebook, Matthew David Hurtado.
Mhm.
He's on Facebook. Facebook him. He just come out of the blue and one day and said, "I like what you're doing." I like. Okay, all right, let's do
Yeah.
this. So synchronicity comes in like the weirdest forms and fashions. So connect with us. We love you. We're here to help because we don't have any competition. That's the bottom line. Don't worry about competition. There's no competition. So
Yeah.
let's, if there's like someone out there that wants to be a numerologist, contact me.
Yeah.
I'm not going to worry about the fact that you're going to be a competition for me. No.
Hey, if you were supposed to have competition, there would be a duplicity world where there'd be 25 of you on the planet. But since there's not, there's only one of you. It means that the divine source or God, whatever you want to call it, decided that nobody else could fill your role. Now it's time for you to discover exactly what that role and that purpose is. And when you do, your prosperity will meet you in that place.
You see how he's preaching, but he doesn't live it.
Hey.
So I'm like getting the last little. I likened it to a Christmas tree. The Christmas trees with the net. And I
Yep.
said, you just have to pluck that net, and you're done. And so we're working on it. And he's in West Hollywood, so
Hey.
we're gonna like do this stuff
Yeah,
real.
it's taking the first
Yeah.
step.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so cool. Peace out. We're West Hollywood. It's super hot, Canadian. I'm like sweating bullets, but I'm gonna go have some more
Well,
wine.
Michelle, I decided
and
my
party
backup
hard.
plan was if I don't live it, I could live vicariously through you. So.
Yes. Well, there you go. Yeah. So
No,
peace
I'm not.
out, my people. But
All right, take
West,
care, guys.